Oh, yeah. Hour 2 of our 2-hour radio program leading you into Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg. They're on from 3 to 6:30 today because of the Rangers with the pregame show, and Don will have that as well. But Don just had a very interesting early afternoon, I guess. I don't think it was before noon, where you all are familiar with the work of Frank the Tank of Barstool Sports, and I give him a lot of credit. He's doing these long walks to try to get in shape and lose weight, and he's been very successful so far. And to make it enjoyable for him and also to create content, they do a walk with Frank the Tank with famous people. And today, it was Don Greca. They were walking around, I guess, the Columbus Avenue area of Manhattan where our studios are. And Don will join us now just to give us a little kernel of what that was like. Don, what was that like? What is Frank the Tank like?
He's just, it's so interesting. You watch these videos and his rants, and it all started, Michael. The story with him was that rant about New Jersey Transit, and he was late to the Mets home opener years ago.
Right.
And Portnoy saw that and hired him. And so every time you see him, it's ranting about the Devils, the Dolphins, those are and the Mets. Those are his three, big teams that he rants about. But then you talk to him, and he's just a down-to-earth guy, just a fan, kind of, a little soft-spoken. And you don't see that side. He's like a really nice guy, and it's a tremendous story. He's lost like 150 pounds doing these walks. He's walked almost 500 consecutive days. And he was at the Rock last night for the Jacques Lemaire ceremony. Big Dolphin fan, big Met fan. So we talked some Mets, we talked some hockey, talked some football, and it was just a nice conversation. It really was, with two ranters that are just having a normal, down-to-earth conversation. It was actually pretty cool.
Now, did people recognize you as you were walking around?
Yes, which was kind of cool. And
what did people say to you guys?
Not just it's like, hey Don, hey Frank, like it was like that was pretty cool. Because listen, where we're located it's not like we're outside Madison Square Garden anymore. We're kind of in a very cosmopolitan. We're just down the street from Lincoln Center,
right?
But so it wasn't like a ton of people, but it was nice because there's the cameras, and Jenks did a great job with the camera and getting it all there. It was really a fun experience. I didn't know what to expect. But I was honored that they thought I was a big enough name to do it, and they're fans of our work, and it was a really cool experience. And I can't wait to see how it ended up looking. We've got some stills, but I guess next week is when they're going to finally launch it, so I'm looking forward to it.
Now, did he outwalk you? Because you've gotten yourself into great shape, but did you get tired? Was it a long walk?
No, it was freezing. I will say that. It's not as bad as it was the last couple of days, but it's like less than 20, so it was freezing. We were bundled up pretty good, but no, it was fine. It was a nice brisk walk. I thought we were going to walk around the block,
right?
But we ended up going it was a 20-minute walk back and forth. So we probably went 10 blocks up and down Columbus Avenue.
And what was the most interesting thing you guys talked about?
I honestly, I think two things. He loved my Evan Neal rant, and we kind of just talked about players, how disconnected they are to the fans and how important fans are to everything. And I don't think players realize that. We've talked about that for years. Like, players just don't even get how much money and how passionate fans can be sometimes. But I thought the Pete Alonso stuff, because I agree with him. My overall take with Pete Alonso is I'm going to miss Pete. I'd like Pete to stay, but I like the way they're handling it. I think the Mets are handling this the right way, and he brought that up, and I agreed with him. And I thought that was interesting, where we love him, we want him to stay, but this is the best way to handle it. Just because you have Steve Cohen doesn't mean you can throw $50 million at a guy that's not worth 50. He's not even worth 30. I'm not sure he's worth 25. But if you can get him for less than 25 by playing this way, I think that's probably the best way to handle it. And if you lose him, you lose him. But you can't think with your heart when you're a general manager. And I thought that was interesting because he's such a diehard fan who loves Pete Alonso. So it's easy to just say, well, sign him. It doesn't matter. Any amount of money. Doesn't care. We have Steve Cohen. I was kind of surprised that he looked at it the way that I did, the logical way of, I think that they're handling it the right way.
Now, before I let you go, I know you have to prepare for your show.
Yes.
You're kind of in agreement with all the people that are sick of Mahomes, right? You don't agree with me.
But I'm just tired of the same teams. I know I would like to see the Buffalo Bills. I think it's a great story. The Texans would be a great story, but I don't have any feeling about the Texans or anything. But the Bills have been there knocking on the door. I would love to see the Bills beat the Chiefs. To see the Chiefs back in the Super Bowl again, I just don't think they're that good. I don't. They're an unimpressive 15-2 football team. They get outplayed, but they catch breaks, Michael. I'm not saying it's rigged, but I thought Saturday was a joke. I thought those calls were awful. And the way that he does, they got to do something about these slides, Michael, because it should not be a weapon for the quarterback. These quick slides, and then you've already committed yourself to hit him.
I agree with you.
But the one where the two guys were on top of him and didn't even touch his helmet, and then they threw a flag. It's like enough already. Enough. They were thoroughly outplayed. And listen, Houston cost themselves with special teams and missed field goals and all that. The better team won the game, no question. But watching them all year, and I guess that's what winners do, but they're catching a lot of breaks, Michael, and it just gets tiresome to just see the same teams. They played San Francisco twice already in the Super Bowl. In all likelihood, if they go, they'll take on the Eagles, and that'll be another time facing the Eagles. Don't you want to freshen it? Wouldn't Bills, I guess Commanders at this point, or if it had been Bills Lions, wouldn't that be more sexy to you? Different teams, not the same teams all the time?
I don't know if anything could be more sexy than going for a three-peat, though. I essentially agree with you, and I think that teams that are on the top of the mountain, like the Chiefs are, the fun part of sports is rooting for them to get knocked off the mountain. That's why you and I were together in the stadium when the Giants knocked off the Patriots. That was exhilarating to watch. I just don't understand when people say, well, they're sick of Patrick Mahomes. You're sick of watching greatness, don't you? I mean, whether you think he gets calls or not, and he does get calls, he's phenomenal. He's one of the greatest quarterbacks we'll ever see.
But it can happen. I mean, it happened with Golden State, right? Like Curry, everybody loved Curry. Everybody loved the Golden State run, and then at the end of it, it was just like I'm tired of Curry. I'm tired with the mouthpiece. I'm tired of his kid being there in the post game press conference. Like, you can get sick of things, Michael. It does get to that point where I understand you love greatness. But at some point, and it's not like the Buffalo Bills aren't great.
No, I agree, but you never got sick of Doritos.
I did. Well, I didn't get sick of Doritos. I realized I had a problem. And I will admit to you, you know what? I have a chief addiction, and I need to get over it. So I'd like them gone. Thank you.
I know you have to prepare for your show.
Thank you,
we have
buddy.
our guest coming up. Thanks, buddy.
Miss you
I
terribly.
appreciate it. Miss you.